Welcome in, everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. This is Coast to Coast. How's it going, gentlemen?
Hey, how are you guys?
Good, good.
Trying to stay warm, but it's going.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it. You're sitting
Why?
in your
How
living
cold
room,
is
you're
it over
fine.
there?
Well, it's 13 degrees outside right now, but we got like 40 to 50 mile an hour winds right now. So we got a nice negative 11 wind chill right now.
Oh,
Nice.
so that's what's supposed to come tomorrow. We're supposed to
It's-
get 50-mile-per-hour winds.
Yeah, it's nice and brisk outside today.
Sounds like
Right,
if you didn't like cold weather, you would move.
I don't like cold weather. I stay inside when it gets cold.
Yeah, so I did the Camp Out for Hunger, and I came racing home because I have some other stuff I have to do tonight, and I can't be in Union colors tonight, although I did stick with the Union today. Now because I am doing a toy drive with some Philadelphia Eagles.
nice.
So
Where can people drop stuff off for you?
okay, let me find that out for you. Give me a second. To be honest, it's crazy because sometimes I don't even know where the hell I'm going until the moment of. So, at the Brooklyn Bowl from 6 to 9.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah, the Brooklyn Bowl.
So if you're in the area, get down there, donate toys.
Yeah, 1009 Canal Street in Philadelphia. So come on out. From what I understand, Brandon Graham was going to be there since he's got nothing else to do. And,
Nice.
Maybe other Eagles, I don't know. But, and of course, come to the Camp Out for Hunger. So if it's, like I said, if you are in the Philadelphia area whatsoever, every day is like an adventure from 6 to 11 o'clock with them. So it's always a lot of fun. Come on down. It's a radio show. If you've never heard of Preston and Steve, you're not living in Philadelphia. Like I said, we're collecting donations and non-perishable food items for Philabundance. This is the largest food drive in the world. Interestingly enough.
Huh.
So
Awesome.
the Camp Out for Hunger has been going on for, I think this is their 26th year. This happens to only be my 4th year doing it like this as the Philly sports guy. And I go there every day in different paint. You saw yesterday I was in Sixers paint. Obviously the Union today, I showered because there's some other stuff I have to do before I get painted up to go in Eagles gear tonight.
Yeah.
So,
and when it's a jacket, actually. I had recently moved my setup out in my garage, and although it's not 11 degrees here, it is 27, and there's no heat in this garage, so it's a little on the chilly side from where I'm broadcasting at the moment. So, yep, jacket time.
So, well, there you go. And there you have it. In the meantime, everybody in the world was talking about this golden bat.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody else in the world says. It sucks.
Yeah.
Do not do this.
I really haven't heard much positive feedback on it at all. Like every person that I've talked to or like every radio station that I've listened to absolutely hates it. Like I haven't heard one. There was one guy that said he'd be willing to give it a shot because he hates denying anything before giving it a shot. Like he was with the runner on second base with you can only throw over to a base 3 times. Like there's a lot of people against that too, but he's like, I always am willing to give rule changes a try, but he's like, this might be the one where I don't want to give it a try.
Yeah, I mean, if everybody hates it, it sure seems like something they'll pass.
Exactly.
It's like it's like the old intro, right? Baseball is run by people that are determined to ruin it.
Right. The people that run baseball, they do their very best to ruin it.
Yep.
That's
the
was
way.
A great line. That was such a great line.
It really was, and he's not wrong.
So, and it's like I don't understand like I'm beginning to wonder if this is a Manfred thing. Like, oh, I was the one that did this, and I was the one that did this, and now I feel like I got to keep setting the bar.
Maybe.
So, and that's what I feel like. I feel like this is a reach. I feel like this is a big reach, and I
I
don't know
mean,
why they're playing this card. Like, I don't get it.
like, how bad are ratings? Are the ratings bad enough that they need to be messing with rules constantly, or they just see the NFL do it and want to follow suit?
Well,
It's not ratings, I can tell you that much.
I mean,
I mean, it's got to play a factor.
It's money. It's the
you know what
fact.
they could do? You want to know what they could do if they really wanted to do something to change baseball? Move the pitcher's mound back 3 feet. That would change everything in baseball.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, people would be batting. They'd be able to hit to the opposite field. I mean, the reason why you can't hit to the opposite field is because these pitchers are pitching too fast.
Like a zillion miles an hour now.
So, I mean, it would be a really big deal by moving it back that much. Like, you probably move it back a foot and a half, and it would change a lot of the pitching. Like, a tremendous amount of the pitching.
There'd be a lot of walks the first year.
Well, because everybody's so used to doing it a certain way.
Yeah.
But
you could see a situation too where you move the pitcher's mound back 3 feet instead of having like all these guys now throwing 98 to triple digits. You could start having kind of those Greg Maddux type of pitchers come back into the game where they're not necessarily worried about velocity anymore. It's just more about locating and working the corners just to get the ball over the plate.
See, and this is what I was thinking. It's ratings, which equals money.
Yeah, they said baseball ratings. They said baseball ratings last year were like the highest they've been since 2012. But I think it has to do more so with.
I mean, that's setting the bar low.
Well, no, but just because like the game's faster now with the pitch clock, so now the ratings are getting back up to where they want them to be. I think a lot of this just has to do with all these big contracts that are getting divvied out across baseball now, and then you had Bally Sports go out of business. How many baseball teams lost all that money from Bally Sports going out of business because they lost like their primary broadcasting contract? So they're trying to do something to get some of this money back, and possibly throwing this in there's a way to get more fans into the ballpark, which will get the teams more money.
I don't know that anybody goes into the ballpark because if it gets down to the last at bat, they may be able to see their favorite player take that at bat. I don't believe that that's going to be the case. You want to get people into the stands. You know what? Every third day, have a player available. So every day you get, there's a player available, and like it said, it's like you got to make like 3 or 4 players available every 3 days. So 4 players are available where they meet and greet with people, and then you have another 4 people, and then you have another 4 people. You know what? You could do it all week long, every 6 games.
Or what you could do too, and I know a lot of teams have gone away from doing this, but even 4 or 5 years ago, so many teams did like on the field batting practice before games, where players would be like out on the field doing batting practice, out on the field shagging balls, and then like in between they would like throw the ball up to a fan in the stands to play catch, or they would sign autographs with some of the kids that were just kind of sitting behind home plate. Now 90% of teams that are doing actual batting practice are doing it in the underground tunnels, and they're hitting off a tee. They're not actually doing like live hitting like they used to. And if that's what you want to do, have people just go back out for regular batting practice again. That's why kids go to games so early, because they want to see their players, their favorite player out on the field just doing BP.
Yeah, I mean, on the plus side, the Mariners still do that.
But say even at Minute Maid, they've done that a few times, and I mean, at Minute Maid, it's a very accessible ballpark. I mean, everything is right there. I mean, the players are very close to you, so interaction is not hard to do, even at Minute
Maid. Taking pictures for their IG. You're kind of not wrong though. That is a lot of it. So I mean, based on that theory, just have $4 beers.
Right.
Be packed out.
Yeah.
Or keep it selling alcohol all the way through the game instead of stopping it after the 7th inning.
That wouldn't matter
I don't think that matters either. I mean, in New York, at Yankee, you're allowed to walk out.
Yeah.
with the beer.
I know. I think one of the reasons why they're trying this rule too is how many times you see fans potentially leaving early in the ninth inning. Like if your team is down by 2 or 3 runs in the ninth inning, you see a lot of fans leaving because they want to beat the traffic. Now
Listen,
it's like you
That's
throw
a
this,
seventh inning thing. That's a
Yeah.
seventh inning thing.
And
After
now
the
you-
seventh inning, if you are down by 3 runs and the Phillies don't do anything at bat, you'll see a bunch of people
Yep.
leave. Now, if it's not the playoffs, if it's a regular season game, that's what I'm talking about.
now if you throw
Playoffs.
this
Man, they
rule,
call my dad seventh inning Tom because every seventh inning, man, we had to get our asses up and go.
if you throw this rule into the mix now, that might stop that from happening because even if your team's down by 3 heading into the 8th, some fans are going to be like, "Oh, is Shohei going to get a chance to bat
That
twice in
will
the ninth
not
inning?"
move the needle. Will not move the needle.
You don't think so?
Not a chance. No.
No.
And I mean, especially here with the way our Mariners played offense, I mean, you could have people leaving in the 5th inning. Or
I
like,
mean, it makes
"Oh,
you
we're-"
want to say, "Hey, listen, can I borrow one of your bats to
Yeah,
come up and bat for us?
Now
Because
that,
we're allowed to have anybody. I want you to come and
that
bat
right
for
there
us."
might get
I
some
mean, if you
people.
want to keep people in the stage, you got to make baseball more relatable. NBA, football, in high schools and things like that, it's a much more popular thing. Kids are more involved with it. It's a faster paced game, things like that. It just captivates your attention span a lot easier than baseball does.
Well, it's faster.
The problem
yeah, that's
is
what I'm
that
saying.
you
I mean, you're
can't
right.
play 2-person baseball.
No, you're right. You can't.
It's or you can. It's just that game sucks.
No, that game's
I think
horrible.
they call that home run derby, actually.
Yeah.
That's called pitch and shag.
Yeah.
I feel like that there's, yep, I don't think baseball needs a restructuring of the game itself. Like I said, I think that if you move the pitcher's mound back, like the hardest part about doing something like that is that it would take 2 years for it to finally level out because it's like that's like shooting darts at a dartboard. You're so used to shooting it, but now all of a sudden the rules say you got to move back 1 foot.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden
Yeah.
now all your darts are low. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you got to change your whole trajectory, the way things happen and stuff like that. But that's what's got to occur. Either that or lower the mound, another 4 or 5 inches that way.
Well,
So
that's why I said, you'd end up with a lot of walks the first year of that.
Mm-hmm.
There'd be a lot of guys just outside of the zone.
Did you guys see the report on the Dodgers yesterday?
No.
So after they came out with the contract details to Blake Snell, which he's having $68 to $70 million of his new deal deferred. They also had a report showing that Teoscar Hernandez signed a 1-year contract last year with the Dodgers, so he's still a free agent. But he has $850,000 deferred every year through 2039, which brings the Dodgers' deferred money on their books right now at $1.76 billion in deferred money right now.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's not like we didn't know that.
I didn't know it was that much.
I didn't
I
know
knew
it was
it
that
was
much.
over $1 billion. I knew it was
Yeah,
over $1 billion.
Like they have $400 million in actual payroll plus an additional $1.76 billion in deferred money. That basically means they have almost $2.5 billion in total payroll on that roster right now, which is worth more than half of what most Major League Baseball teams are even worth.
Sure.
And all they got to do is just declare bankruptcy and all that goes away.
Yes.
I'm dead serious.
I know that's what I'm saying, but I just find it funny. That's
You know
just
what?
like-
And then all those players get the big yay, you're fucked.
well, that's why there's
Yeah.
so many people right now that are just getting mad at what the Dodgers are doing, and I'm one of them that just think like they should. I don't care if they're going to defer some money, but you shouldn't be able to defer like half a contract or 60% of a player's contract. You shouldn't be able to defer. But at the same time, like it might work for this team right now. But if there's a situation where they have to declare bankruptcy down the road, all these players are effed, and they're not going to get that money.
Wow, that has nothing to do with sports, Frankie. But that sucks.
Yeah. I was like, wait, what? I mean, crazy, no question. Wow.
But
Okay.
the truth of the matter is, that's actually, Rob, that's wrong, because ultimately, if the Dodgers declare Chapter 13, it's gonna be a lot different. You know what I mean? It'll change everything like that regard. So, excuse me a second, guys. I got to disappear.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I think even if they did a 13, because if I remember right, 13 is restructuring. I think they'd still have to honor the contracts.
Yeah, Chapter 11.
Chapter 11 would be
That's the one where you can void everything.
right, but at that point you'd have to change ownership, or actually, I guess you'd have to get rid of the team for that to be
Yeah,
a
I'm about
thing.
to say, if we're doing
There's
that
no
kind of
way
bankruptcy-
baseball lets that happen.
Well, I
Well,
mean, the only thing baseball would
wouldn't
do
let
is
it happen. Like
baseball-
straight up, baseball would not allow that.
baseball would take over the Dodgers. They wouldn't
That's
let the
what I'm
Dodgers they wouldn't let the Dodgers go away. They would just be like, well, if you're declaring Chapter 11 bankruptcy, we'll take over the Dodgers until you find a new owner, and then we'll just go from there. They will never let the Dodgers go away. It's one of the 5 baseball teams that they will never let disappear.
Yeah.
Like the Cubs, the Yankees, the Cubs, the Dodgers, the Red Sox, and probably the Mets are the 5 organizations they would never let disappear.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, right? Like they're pillars of baseball. Like you can't. There's too much history there to allow it to fall apart. So,
Especially with
there's not really a feasible way for the Dodgers to get out of those contracts, honestly. But it'd be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, they won't. No other team's going to be publicly owned. I mean, if nothing else, they'll end up doing what the latest purchasing has been in the NFL, where it's ownership groups.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you start getting away from single owners, but you're not going to get away from owned teams.
But that would be pretty awesome. I mean, if they could have city-owned, teams, that would definitely take a lot of the moving from town to town away, right?
that
Yeah,
one.
but you have, like, if you think you have non-baseball people making decisions now,
Yeah.
imagine if they're city-ran teams. Like, that is a scary thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one comment that Frankie put up there about the Dodgers starting pitching and how insane it's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at their rotation right now. Chances are Yamamoto is going to be the number 1 next year just because
Sure.
of the season that he had last year. Shohei is going to be your number 2. And then you're probably going to have Blake Snell as your 3. Tyler Glasnow as your 4. If they go and get Roki Sasaki, he's going to be your 5. Or if the Dodgers decide they want to go get Max Fried or Corbin Burns, you could throw him as your 1 or 2 and push everybody else down. They legitimately
That's
They
why I
have
thought
5
they were
Cy
going to
Young.
go try and get Bauer.
Yeah, they have 5 Cy Young. Yamamoto hasn't won a Cy Young, and everybody else, I don't know if Shohei has either, but regardless, they have 5 starting pitchers who are all capable of winning a Cy Young award.
I don't know if anybody's won one, but
Well, because I was looking because Blake Snell's won one in each league. Glasnow, I believe, won one time with Tampa Bay. I'm not sure if Shohei won one. I know he's won the MVP, but I don't know if he's gotten the Cy Young. And then Yamamoto's had 2 or 3 of them in Japan. They legitimately could have 5 starting pitchers who all have a chance to win the Cy Young year in and year out.
yeah, which means none of them will. But yeah,
And it was interesting because I just got 100% confirmation that Brandon Graham will be he had surgery yesterday, and he's going to be out and about already after surgery. They're trying to get toys for this toy drive. So you absolutely, if you are in Philadelphia and you want to see BG up close and personal, bring a toy.
nice.
Bring lots of toys. The more
Nice.
toys you bring, the more chance you have.
That's right. And I mean, the thing about baseball, Rob, is they do revenue sharing, so they don't really care so much if a small market team's getting buried.
No,
They are a little bit unique in the way they run business.
they pay all those people, Joe, because they defer everything.
Yeah, but like you said, I mean, at some point that's going to catch up to them. in the back end side of those contracts, I mean, there's going to be some kind of repercussions to the Dodgers, right?
Yeah, they're gonna suck.
Sit him. Sit him. I have him sit.
Yeah, no, I mean, once those contracts catch up with the team, yeah, they're not going to be a good team. Like they're putting all their chips in the middle for the next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, but even after that, though, it's going to be, I don't know. I need them to declare bankruptcy. That's what I need them to do. I know, because this is going to set the shockwave through the entire Major League Baseball.
Sure.
You know what I mean? That you can't cheat the system.
That's I think a big reason why when it comes to free agency this year, like outside of Juan Soto getting his massive deal and outside of Corbin Burns getting his massive deal that he's probably going to get, I really don't see too many scenarios where players are going to get massive deals right now just because is anybody else going to want to do what the Dodgers do to defer anything? And if they do, is everyone to start worrying about what Pags just said, where if a team declares for bankruptcy, that's going to send shockwaves through Major League Baseball. And if that happens, is that the point where baseball says we're putting a salary cap on you guys?
Like, I wouldn't mind a salary cap. Like, I would like the competition that is created by salary caps.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily even care about a salary cap. I think Major League Baseball needs to have a salary floor where every team needs to have a specific dollar amount on their
both that happens together.
Like,
yeah.
Like the teams that have a payroll of like $30 million. I think every team should at least be in that $70 to $90 million payroll range.
Yeah, there should be a window.
Yeah, like you may not have like that grade A superstar like a Shohei or like a Juan Soto, but at a $70 to $90 million payroll, you can get yourself one or two solid pitchers. You can get yourself one or two solid position players that can make your team that much more competitive. Like these teams that are spending $30 million on your entire roster, where basically that averages out to be like $1.2 million per player. That's just not a good look for the game when you have 6 teams that are over $300 million.
Yeah.
Like you need to have that salary floor where at least teams that are going to be bad at least have some competitive players on their roster to make it worth watching teams lose, as opposed to a 30-win White Sox team. They had nobody even worth watching.
Well, I mean, the best thing about salary caps is it also means that the bad team isn't necessarily going to be bad forever, right? Now, obviously there's dysfunctional franchises that are still going to suck. They'll find ways to mess it up. But
Dallas Cowboys.
But I mean, beyond that, some of these smaller market teams and stuff, that they'll be more competitive where they, generally kind of aren't.
Well, like you used to see that in baseball, even like 10 years ago, where even the really bad teams at baseball, like the Miami Marlins, after they kind of sold their entire team after winning the World Series a second time, the Marlins still had guys like Miguel Cabrera, and they still had Josh Beckett, and they still had those star quality players that actually made the team worth watching. Like maybe even if it was once every 5 days, they still had those players worth watching. These teams nowadays, like the really bad teams, they don't even have players that you get excited about anymore. It's literally like, oh, here's $30 million. We have to fill 26 spots on our roster. You get $1 million, you get $1 million, you get $1 million. Just come join our team.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see a cap.
Yeah,
mostly because we happen to have a team that historically doesn't do great things. So I would like to see a window for them to, actually target.
I think it gives you more competitive baseball when you have a cap, right? I mean, everybody's more competitive. It's not like, okay, I'm going to go see this team, whop the crap out of the other team because I know they have a better team, better payroll, whatever.
Yeah.
It just gives you more of a competitive advantage when you go to a game. There's a little bit more. Man, I don't know. It could be a game this or that way, rather than going to a game whereas back in the days of the Lakers or the days of even the Patriots, where you were like, okay, I step in the Patriots here.
Yeah, well, I mean, you just don't want to see a team like the Dodgers that make up finances go and just beat the brakes off of a team that like the White Sox this last year,
right?
That wasn't paying anybody and had the worst baseball ever.
Yeah. And and you can put all those chips in the middle like the Dodgers are doing and still come away with a bag of chips. I mean, yeah, they're spending all this money, but there's no guarantee in that either. I mean, look at the Mets. I mean, the Mets put all that money in; they didn't come away with anything. I mean, it's still a gamble, regardless, right?
I mean, the Mets still. I mean, Mets made the playoffs this year. They still made a deep playoff run, considering how bad they've been the last couple of years. Like, money's gonna, as long as you stay healthy, money will get you into the playoffs.
Yeah, money.
Yeah, absolutely, money's going to get you in the playoffs. I'm just saying, like, putting everything in, deferring all these payments to try to be competitive now, only to set yourself up for maybe a decade or whatever of sucking. I don't know. I mean, that's if you get them back. What if they spend all this money? Yeah, I understand they got one with Shohei Ohtani this year, and they did get one. That's great for them. But going beyond this, what if they don't get anything and then they're screwed for a while?
And I think that's why a lot of these big market teams outside of the Cubs spend the money they spend, because spending will get you into the playoffs. It's not going to guarantee you a championship, just because we've seen it before with the Phillies, the Diamondbacks, and the Padres even the last couple of years, where
it'll guarantee you an opportunity, though.
Yeah, well, whoever gets hot in September is typically the ones that get to the World Series. And we've seen that in the National League, especially with Arizona getting hot last year at the right time and going to the World Series. But teams that spend money will 90% of the time get to the playoffs, and once you get to that point, then you have just as good of a chance as anybody else. But that's why a lot of teams spend the money they do, because it's just like, all we need to do is get into that field of 12. When we get into that field of 12, who knows what's going to happen? But if we don't spend, chances are we don't have that good of a shot to get to that field of 12.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, once you get into postseason play, anything can happen. But spending money 99% of the time will get you there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you certainly have a better option or better odds than, let's say, a team like Tampa Bay or even the A's, who have a low payroll, that if they get there, it's by a Cinderella miracle and not just.
Well, the thing that's always helped Tampa Bay, and what I give so much credit to their player development system, because their player development system has been amazing since they've come into the league. But every time Tampa Bay gets to the ALCS or they get close to the World Series, it's because they have people like Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, and like these superstar players that they developed to the point where they're at that point where they're going to sign a big time free agent contract. So they literally get to the point where it's like,
somewhere else.
Yeah, they get to that point where it's like, we've gone as far as we can go with you. Now we're going to retool with the 5 players that we're going to get by sending you somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally what the Mariners do every year. Is they will start to develop talent, and then they will send them somewhere else to win a World Series. Like, we're great at developing talent. We're just not great at keeping them and actually using them. That being said, if you like betting on Cinderella stories, you can do it with the QR code here on the screen. Up to your first 3 deposits, 125% of those, 10% bet guarantee. In case you happen to bet on a Cinderella and they don't win, because they typically don't. Make sure you bet smart. Use the QR code on the screen. Bet right alongside us here at Coast to Coast. And if you're in the Pacific Northwest, True Fusion Gym, whether it's Bellevue, Ballard, or University Village, use the QR code on the screen. Get a free 5-day pass at any of those 3 locations. Find your edge at True Fusion Gym. All right.
I got one more thing. I got one more thing on baseball, quick, before we can move.
Yeah, what do you got?
It does not look like the A's are going to be moving to Las Vegas anytime soon.
Well, they weren't anyway. They're going to be in Sacramento for a couple of years.
Well, it looks like it could be permanently now, because the ballpark that they were supposed to build in Las Vegas is now costing an additional $350 million. And Vegas does not want to fund that.
Well, Vegas hasn't been excited about it for a while. Like, they even had their governor say, you guys should probably stay in Oakland.
Yeah, well, looks like they might just. It looks like they might just stay in Sacramento now, even longer than the anticipated wait time, which that actually wouldn't be bad, because it still keeps them in Northern California.
I mean, it is
And
bad when you
screw
consider
that ownership.
Yes, I mean, all of that. But I mean, the Sacramento thing isn't going to work really either. The stadium isn't right. Like, so that's going to create its own issues. I mean, they got a lot of problems.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they really do.
And Vegas hasn't wanted them. Oakland probably doesn't want them back, right? Like, even if they were to figure something out, I feel like Oakland would be just middle fingers up the whole way.
Well, I think it's the ownership is the problem.
Oh, no question.
Say, why don't they just throw another team in LA? You know, they got like the Anaheim Angels, they got the Dodgers. Why don't they just move down there to you know, what's what's a good town right around there? Inglewood.
Sure.
You
Put them in
can go-
Tijuana. Let's have some fun.
Good.
The TJAs. I'm in. That would be hilarious.
Probably be send them to Oklahoma City.
Okay.
All
right.
The
Send 'em-
Oklahoma City A's.
Send him to
Montreal.
Montreal. Send him to Montreal.
Omaha, Nebraska, and call them the Cowboys.
I like it. It's the OKs.
Yeah,
That's how good they play.
send him to Montreal and be done with it.
Yeah, I mean they could do that. They could do that.
I think that's going to happen before they go to Vegas. I think they'll just send him to Montreal and be done with it.
I don't think that'll be the team that goes there.
Yeah, but they gotta then this is becoming the problem where, who moves?
Who moves from the AL to the NL?
Yeah, to the AL to the NL.
Send Houston back to the NL.
No, it's not that you're missing the point. Actually, somebody's got to move the other way.
Yeah.
St. Louis can go that way. They're the furthest one out west out of the National League teams at that point. They're in the Central Division technically, but they'd be the furthest team out west if you moved that A's to Montreal, because now the Montreal would be east, and St. Louis is the furthest team out west because they're right by where Kansas City is.
How about Portland, Oregon?
That's one of the teams, or that's one of the cities that's still under consideration for expansion is Portland.
It would actually be a decent spot to put to finally get a team.
Or Vancouver?
Vancouver does not want one.
Vancouver.
They have a minor league team up in Vancouver that obviously minor league baseball doesn't draw as well as Major League Baseball, but they really don't have that big of a baseball following in Vancouver. They went through the expansion process up there and it pretty much got nowhere. They just don't
about
have
Calgary.
I think
too cold.
Winnipeg. Winnipeg's an option because they do have two independent baseball teams in Winnipeg, and one of their independent league teams actually won the championship this year. They have one of the bigger stadiums for the independent leagues. I think it holds like 12,000 people, and they average about 10,000 people. So they actually draw pretty well in the Winnipeg area.
I do like the idea of moving the A's to Canada. Like, that makes sense.
Well,
we got baseball, eh?
Well, we got
Move
Canada.
them to Anchorage. If they have an indoor stadium, move them to Anchorage. Who cares? Boise, Idaho.
Send them to Puerto Rico, one that like the Puerto Rico Expos.
Call them the Yellowstone A's.
Now you're talking South Dakota or North Dakota if you're going to go Yellowstone.
Or Wyoming.
Or Wyoming, yeah.
What about Salt Lake City? Could you see a baseball team in Salt Lake?
That was Salt Lake. Nobody likes the Mormons. We kid. We love the Mormons. We love them.
What are we doing right now?
I don't know.
Actually,
I don't mind. I don't mind the Mormons. They listen. They're like, who cares if you want to marry? I have a hard enough time keeping one girlfriend. You want to marry 18 of them? Perfect.
Well, I mean, they keep their stamina up because all the bicycle riding.
Is that what it is? Let's see. What else? What other cities are
We
there?
can call those Salt Lake
I
City
was just thinking, what other
pineapple.
demo can we offend?
Well, one spot that I'm surprised they haven't looked into for a Major League Baseball team is Omaha. Just because of the College World Series being in Omaha every year, like you could build a Major League park in Omaha, use that for the College World Series, and build that up as your baseball fan base.
Cheyenne
A's. I mean,
how about what's it in New Mexico?
Albuquerque.
There you go.
Yeah, it changed their logo to Bugs Bunny or something.
I mean, they have the Albuquerque Isotopes.
Montana, that'd be a great one to butt A's.
They have the Albuquerque Isotopes down there already.
The Santa Fe A's, maybe. How about that?
Yeah.
Santa Fe, like what's it? El Paso.
Yep.
I'm
Bring
just
this team to Italy.
Hawaii, the Hawaiian A's.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'd struggle with travel, right?
So it's funny. It's funny that They're trying to get him in Las Vegas. I'm surprised they haven't tried to move him to Reno.
Yeah, Reno could work. Reno could work.
Yeah, Reno would be a good option, but with everything going in Vegas right now, I mean, started with the Golden Knights, now you have the Raiders, now you're gonna have an NBA team in a couple of years. Why not throw the A's in the mix?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have minded Santa Fe either. The Santa Fe's could work because fun with puns. Let's go.
Or why not just send them to Texas and put them in Austin or San Antonio? San Antonio literally just has the San Antonio Spurs as their only professional team, and Austin only has Austin FC for soccer. Texas is obviously a big sports markets for all the major cities down there, but they don't have really that major team that everyone can kind of grasp to. I think Austin would be perfect for a baseball team just because their only professional sports team is soccer.
Yeah, they have to change that ownership group though.
That's the problem. I don't want the owner to work it make out in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to see them crash and burn. They should move them into the border town next to Arizona because most of that is ran by cartels. That'll definitely work out.
I feel like this is an episode of Major
How about
League.
Death Valley A's, DVA.
I feel like this is another episode.
Games
of
are
Major League,
118
if I make the team
degrees.
bad enough, we'll move to Miami or something.
Yeah, it'd definitely be open air, right?
What about Roswell, New Mexico?
Roswell? Yeah.
What's it? How about Jackson Hole, Wyoming? The A-holes.
That would at least make sense.
I love that one. The Jackson Hole A's.
Or you can shorten it down to Jackholes. Do the Jack.
I like it.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm glad we're spending Major League Baseball
Well,
money.
I mean,
That being said, though,
aren't you glad you tuned in today?
the truth of the matter is that I kind of feel like that this is Manfred just getting a little bit sign happy. Like he wants to sign, he wants to change everything now.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I mean, like,
you know what I want to change?
Right?
You know what I want to change? The commissioner.
Oh, that'd be nice. Should we start there? That'd be a great.
Yeah, they already have his placement lined up, so now it's just a matter of when it's going to happen.
Who is it?
Theo
Theo.
Epstein.
I'd have been happier having them do George W. Bush.
Yeah.
He wanted to be.
He did. Yeah, Theo is basically Manfred's right-hand man. Now he pretty much signs off on all the rule changes with Manfred. So once Manfred leaves, it's going to be Theo taking over.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks. But whatever. It is what it is.
I do think they should put a team in Portland, though. Like that would actually be good.
Yeah.
Or Idaho.
I mean, I don't know that they would have the people, right? Population is an issue.
Boise would be really the only city you could put it in. I mean, that city's only, 240, 250 maybe?
No, that's what I mean. Is they don't have any highly populated cities.
No.
So Portland, on the other hand, would be big enough. It would still be a small market team, but it would be big enough that, feasibly that would work. Plus, it's close ugh to Seattle that,
rivalry. It's close enough to Idaho where people could go there. I mean,
What about Birmingham? Man, why not go down there? Is it just no help for the Delta?
it's not necessarily that. Alabama has 12 minor league baseball teams already. It's not like it's a big baseball market. I'm not going to say it's not, but there's so many small towns in Alabama that already have minor league baseball teams. It's just more efficient to do it that way, just because 90% of what those cities make during the summer comes from their minor league baseball team. So why risk taking one of those teams away to put in a major league team and then kind of taking some of that financial gain that those cities get?
well, not just that, but you don't. Ideally, if you can keep it out west, or at least feasibly out west, you don't have to do major league realignments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, they were saying that Norfolk. Here are
Norfolk Tides.
yeah, I know that's what I thought of right away because that's who I
Hulking
tried
A's.
out for.
I still think Louisville is the perfect option for a Major League Baseball team because they are the biggest city in the United States that does not have a professional team at any level. It's a college town. They do not have a professional team in Louisville for anything. That's why I think baseball would be perfect there because it's going to give you your first professional team. You're close enough to a lot of states that don't have professional teams that would drive there.
Okay, so San Bernardino, California, Austin, Texas,
Yep.
Virginia Beach,
Mm.
Louisville, Kentucky is 6th on the list. Hartford, Connecticut, but nobody wants to go up there.
Hartford Senators.
You know, I didn't like that list at all. Actually, that list sucked. Like San Jose. Actually, San Jose would be the spot
That's where I thought the A's were going to go as opposed to Sacramento. I thought they were going to just send them up to San Jose.
They got Jacksonville. That's but nobody wants to go to Jacksonville. Columbus, Ohio. That kind of sucks though because you got Cleveland and Cincinnati, so you'd wind up doing that. Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So if you were to do Louisville, do you put it right behind the Slugger Museum?
I mean, the minor league team plays across the street. So all you would really have to do is just add another level of seats to that minor league ballpark, and then it becomes a major league stadium because I think their minor league park holds 18,000, and to be considered major league standards, you have to be at 30. So you just add one
You
more.
have to be close to 40.
I think it's 30.
Okay.
What is the minimum amount of seats allowed in a Major League Baseball stadium?
Because I believe Fenway's only like 33, 34.
Oh, okay. I thought they were closer to like 38. But still.
Because if you put one more level of seats at Louisville Slugger Park, or you add seats into the outfield, that takes that stadium from 17,000, 18,000 and puts it at that 30,000 range. Don't have to really do anything to it because
Tropicana Field's only got 25,000.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean Louisville's got the stadium. It's like 415 a dead center. It's 340 down the lines. It's right across from the Louisville Slugger Museum. All you would have to do is just invest in that next tier of seats to add the major league standards.
I mean, yeah, that could actually work.
Because where the A's are going right now in Sacramento, I think their current stadium right now holds 14,000, and they're putting in 6,000 seats this year to get it to 20,000, just because it's technically a rental stadium at this point. But if they end up staying there permanently, they have to get it to like that 25,000, 30,000 mark. But they're at least doing a little bit this year to get it to that 20,000 mark.
Yeah, it didn't sound like they were going to be able to stay.
No. Yeah, I think Louisville at this point would be the best option to move permanently, just because of how everything is set up.
No, I could see that. Like, it's not going to happen. They're going to find a more destructive way to make this happen. But
just call them the Louisville Sluggers. You won't even have to do anything to the name.
Yep. They'd have to go buy some bats.
Yeah, they definitely have to go buy some bats.
Yeah, they got one. They got Brent Rooker and Shea Langoliers. They got two.
Yeah, that's not going to do it for a team name that.
And just so that you guys are all aware, there is going to be a new owner of the NBA Cup.
Okay.
The Lakers did not make it.
Oh, that way.
Oh.
I thought you meant like a new sponsor. It was like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Like, did they just change sponsors this year?
No, it's the Lakers are not in it, so it's going to be the Warriors and the Mavericks, the Thunder and the Rockets in the West, and in the East, it's the Hawks, which beat out the Celtics, and that cracks me up. The Bucks, the Orlando Magic, and the Knicks.
Yeah, so I mean that just lets you know that whoever wins the cup is not going to win the trophy at the end of the year.
Do you guys even
Exactly.
like? Do you guys even like this in-season tournament or not really?
I think it's a gimmicky, dumb thing, but
Yeah, I think it's a gimmicky dumb thing.
honestly, I think it was just so that players would load manage less. Is really all it is. It's like, hey, we'll give you the shiny thing if you just actually show up to work.
Like,
I don't understand if they're going to do this. Move it all to the very beginning of the season. That's what you do. The first 4 games are against your division,
Okay.
and then you have a week off to get the playoffs done, and then go into the regular season. And then all the games count as regular season games minus the playoffs portion.
if you're really going off of that argument, why not just get rid of the preseason and use the preseason as the in-season cup?
Or if you just get rid of the in-season cup because it's dumb.
I don't actually like. I don't mind it. I don't like the fact
You
that-
just like
I mean,
you
come
just like
on.
looking at the courts.
That's true, but I don't
Yeah,
like.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because I mean, what the hell difference is damn instant cup, man? If you don't win the whole damn thing, I mean, that's just like some kind of
Well,
I-
it means a lot if you get the extra $500,000.
That's the
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, you get that, and again, that's just a cookie for actually showing up to work.
yeah. But I'm just saying, what the hell?
What the hell? You're already making millions a year.
$500,000
Just
is a
go
lot
play.
of money, but to them, it's what is $500,000 to an NBA player when they got all
Depends
that.
on who that NBA player is.
Well, that's
you know.
true. Could be riding the pine down at the end, but then if you're riding the pine down at the end, nobody wants to see you anyway.
Hey, listen, Bronny could use that extra $500,000.
Shit.
I mean, that's true, but he wouldn't be in the tournament anyway.
Listen, when you watch your butt with hundreds, you don't care about that 500 grand. Brian don't care about that 500 grand.
That is
I
definitely
believe-
not true.
Yeah.
Last thing you want to do is run out of
I
paper.
think Bronny knows that Bronny's taken care of for the rest of his life, no matter what.
Hey, you don't want to run out of paper. If I'm wiping my butt with hundreds, I need more hundreds.
Exactly.
Never fun when you look over
I
at the
don't
rolls.
think a guy like Bronny James is over there worried about money of any kind. Honestly, I don't think that even is his brain.
You know, Joe, I don't know if that's ever happened. I'm imagining probably not. I doubt they've ran out of balls.
No, they have 150 balls every baseball game that they have sitting. They put 30 in a dugout at a time because they have basically one box of balls in the dugout, which comes in a 30 pack. The umpires usually have 7 baseballs at a time in their pocket, and when they typically
what
get
the
down,
expense is for Major League Baseball for baseballs. I mean, yes,
I mean, you think they honestly are really paying for it? Probably not.
probably not. Well, I'm sure they got to pay a
Fair
little bit.
amount. They are definitely paying for it.
But like when the umpire typically gets down to about 3 baseballs, that's when he'll ask for more. So it's not like there's ever typically too much of a situation where they're getting worried about losing baseball
mean,
at any point.
If you go through 150 baseballs, I'm pretty sure they would just be like, hey, can some of y'all in the stands throw a couple of those back so we can keep playing?
Probably not. They'd probably just open up another box. You know, it's like they got unlimited
Some that
supplies.
aren't rubbed down.
Yeah, you think about it. Oh, hold on, guys. We have to steal from tomorrow's game.
Yeah, no, exactly. And the 9th inning is brought to you by Dick's because we ran out of baseballs and had to go buy some.
So please pardon us for this 15-minute wait while we drive to the nearest Dick's to get another
That's right.
Box
These
of
same
balls.
little
Oh,
things
hell
will go
no.
on in
Listen,
the
if you're gonna do
workout.
that, you're just going to DoorDash some balls over from Dick's. Okay? We're waiting on our DoorDash to come in. You're like the most important guy ever in the world carrying DoorDash baseballs.
I do know from like this past summer there was one minor league baseball game that I was at that got within 10 baseballs of running out.
That's pretty crazy.
Because there was two at bats in the game that were like 17, 18 pitch at bats, and one at bat had 15 fall balls. So you literally just went through like almost an entire box of balls just on that one at bat right there.
No, that's why I said, like, if you ran out and they didn't have more in the stadium somehow, there's 150 in the stadium. Like,
Yeah.
someone would throw the ball back.
Yo,
People wouldn't be sitting there like, well, it's the 5th inning. I guess it's over. Like, somebody would be like, you know what? Tell you what, I'll give you this ball that I caught back if you buy me a beer.
After you get close to running out, it's like, hey, I need a ball from the bullpen. Throw me that one. And if we lose this one, then I'll go to your bullpen. Throw me that one, and then we'll start asking the fans for balls.
That's right. Now, I'm pretty sure they would work it out.
No doubts.
Man.
Useless moment of sports.
Some of the the content that we produce on this show is really just
Groundbreaking,
Wow.
It's the best.
yeah.
First class. What are you talking about?
We're gonna get the first internet Emmy.
Yeah.
It's first class content. What are you talking about?
I'm pretty sure that Emmy is going to be for the sign off. Like, you know what? You get an award for stopping.
We appreciate the fact that you shouldn't be anywhere near anybody. But
Good thing YouTube can't drop the colored bars on you.
Oh.
Like, they got disconnected.
Oh.
It's like, oh, okay.
This is all
Play the national anthem before signing off.
Yeah, like the long version though.
Exactly.
And I'm glad that you guys are enjoying it because shows like today are a lot of nonsense.
You gotta have that sometimes though. This is like that midweek lull that people get in. You gotta liven them up a little bit.
Yep. I mean, it's always a fun.
Baseball was meant for hard times. I started putting like logos and stuff on the outfield fence. Like it wasn't just a baseball team logos anymore. Now you got like Joe's Barbecue Shack. Or,
You have to.
Prostate cancer research. Please donate here.
You have to do that. Right?
The signs in Major League were the best, right? Like it was like a proctologist and
like the movie Major League with
days, actually.
like the movie Major League with Bob Uecker said that ball's hit off of the proctologist side in center field and it's rolling toward Denny's Diner.
Hey, however you pay the bills, right? Like I'd put some nonsense behind me, no question. Sponsor the show right here. You can have your nonsense right here.
If you're gonna give me $25 million to put your name over here in the left field corner, sure, put your name over here in the
All I
left
know
field
is
corner.
we're 2 fists of vodka and a couple of wife beaters away from being the reenactment of Major League Baseball in the press box.
Hey,
Marty,
perfect.
Over the beer.
Hey, that bare knuckle boxing is being sponsored by OnlyFans.
There you go. There you go.
To be alive. That is awesome when you're found by OnlyFans.
That makes so much sense because they are really highlighting the bare knuckle.
Hey, but shout out to Robert Duran Jr. He has a bare knuckles fight on the 6th of December.
Man. Well, that'll do it, people.
Yeah. Such a loss. When you're at the loss of words, you know that the show's over.
This was a weird day. It was a weird day. If you've been watching along with us, hopefully you didn't unsubscribe. And if you
got
did,
more
we
subscribers.
understand. So that being said, like and subscribe helps us bring our stuff to you. And of course, if you're watching on Roku, stay tuned for the next hour. And other than that, we will see you tomorrow unless we get canceled. Take it easy, everybody.
Later.
Go fuck.
Introducing National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk programming that you can access 24/7. For the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. National Streaming